This week on SV Lynx. Welcome to this week's SV Lynx video. Last week we got a lot of tasks accomplished, including working on the plumbing in the hulls.
This week, Brian and I are going to become bilge rats because we're going to spend a lot of time down in the bilge. We've got a bunch of work to do. We want to get those diesel tanks completely finished up, sealed up, and ready for fuel. And of course, we got lots of other plumbing to get done down there for the black and gray water stuff. Lots of conduits, you name it. We've got a lot of work to do in the bilge. So let's get right over to it. Get started on Monday, and the first thing we did is seal up our little hole that we drilled through to get the conduit in, and sealed the conduit where it goes there, sealed it up underneath the floor here where we had taken a little piece out right there, and then glued that piece back in again as well. And then glued the conduit, on either side over here, and where it comes out, way back in that cupboard over there. So that conduit's all done. And while I was doing that whole conduit business, Brian was over here, and he was fixing up all of our little holes we have through where the steering bar comes through. So those are all sealed up now too. So we got all that epoxy work done first thing. And now we're going to go into the hulls and start drilling holes in the sole for the diesel fill and the black and gray water pump outs. Start getting that set up. We're trying to get to that sole in there, and soon. Over here in the starboard forward head, and what we're doing right now is figured out where we need to put our diesel fill tube over here. So the way that's going to work is this piece is going to be going in here. And we found that we were going to originally go straight through, but that's not going to work out for us. So instead we're going to come this direction here, and we're going to 90 turn right here. So it'll be a 90. And then it's going to come up where this hole is right here and going up to the deck up above. And the reason we switched to this versus in here is we realized once we started actually, like you often do when you're working on stuff and you get to the real thing, you start seeing things that you don't see when you're just thinking about it. And one of those is, if we have the tubes in here, how do we tighten the hose clamps? They're underneath the floor here without cutting another access port, which we definitely don't want to do. So what we figured out is if we go this direction, we can get to the hose clamp here and here, right there, and the hose clamps for this one here and here. So they're accessible right from the opening hatch we already have. This just makes a 90 and then another 90, and up it goes. So that solves all of that. So that's what we're doing for that port. Now, the ones we're working on right now are the pump outs. That was the fill tube for diesel. For the pump outs, we're going to go right here, and this is inside the black water tank, so that's good. The black water tank runs right here, so that's well within the area of that black water tank. But we had to make room for, there's a wall here, a sliding door now here, and another wall on the other side of that pocket door there. So we had to make sure we weren't in that, and we started to draw this one in, but then we decided that we have to line it up with this diesel one right here, because that takes it to the proper spot that we'd already measured up there. So right here is where that one gets drilled through, so we're about to drill that. And then the other one is for the gray water, and that's going to be down here. And so once we reach way back here, the gray water starts, and it goes all the way to this mark right here. So this is the end of the gray water tank. And sitting right here, from this side of this tube, I'm just using it as an example, to here, is going to be a cupboard. And we want this tube inside the cupboard, so it's out of the way, out of sight. So what we need to do is line it up with these ones here and make sure that it's inside the cupboard. Your walls here, and then you need about at least 3 inches, which we have, and we have 5. So plenty of room for the walls and pocket door business that's here. All right, so this is the gray pump out. There we go.
Put turkey on it.
Say what?
Turkey. It's the only place it's going to be pumped out.
Oh, sorry. You know what I'm thinking about when you said turkey, right? I'm thinking lunch. Turkey. What Brian's talking about is the only place we need this damn thing is in the country of Turkey. And so all this work is for Turkey. I hope they appreciate it. Finally time to seal up these diesel tanks. And so we've got enough of the plumbing done now that we're good to go to seal these up. And we've got them really scrubbed and cleaned and alcohol cleaned. And so we've got these as spotless inside as we can get them. And we're going to put a bead of epoxy, a whole bunch of epoxy, along these L brackets that we have everywhere. So we're going to put a real thick bead along these. And we're going to have to do all 4 of these at once because they meet in these center pieces here. And so we can't do one at a time. So we're going to put epoxy on all 4 of these and put all 4 lids in at the same time. And now once this is in, we're going to have to reach in from the center inspection port area here and clean off any excess squeeze out from the inside. And then after this all sets up, we'll put, again, coming in from the access port here and using a roller, we're going to put some a coating of or 2 of West System resin on just the bare edges that are exposed of the thickened epoxy. So it's probably not necessary, but we're going to do it anyway, just to make sure this is really well sealed on there. So that's what we're up to right now. Brian's over there mixing a whole bunch of thickened epoxy, and we're going to work on this together so that it doesn't set up too fast. So he'll take 2 of these, and I'll take 2 of these, and then we'll get the lids on. If you want to get in over there and start doing those 2, and I'll do the 2 on this side. All right, let's put them down. Stern inside, that'd be this one. And this would be starboard, bow outside. Bow inside. And by process of elimination, stern outside. Okay, now I was avoiding this earlier. Now it's time to stand on. got to put the lid on it, you know, with some screws in it. Make sure they're in the right place. Other than getting the epoxy off of me, it's all held in the right position now. This afternoon, Brian and I are in the holes, and we're plumbers today. So running various conduits, actually. They're not all for plumbing, but for example, this one here we just put through. This is for our diesel lines that will come from the diesel tank we just sealed up, and come down along here. It'll pick up from right here 2 more diesel lines, and it'll head them on down to where we're going with the fuel polishing system. So that's going in there. But right now what we're doing is we're cutting into smaller conduits. And these are for running things like 12-volt DC in here to run our pumps. We have a macerator pump here, and we have a bilge pump over there. We have cameras that we're going to need 12-volt for. We're also going to need to run things like the camera signal back to the nav station, which is right up there. So we've got various things that have to run into these bilge compartments here. So running 2 smaller conduits to be able to handle those smaller lines in there. So got them marked all the way through. We've already drilled some of these, you can see, and now we're drilling a second set through here. And marks on this side, so I gotta get over here. Those 2 go over here because there's going to be lines running up underneath of these cupboards to the nav station. So that's going to bring that over there to that compartment where it's bilge pumps and such over there. This one only has to start here because the diesel enters right here. We're going to have to put a cut in it right there for the other diesel to enter, and then it goes on down, and it'll go up there and up behind underneath these cupboards, and then underneath the cupboards in the cabin, and all the way down underneath to the bulkhead there and through. I should mention that these aren't the only conduits. These are the things that handle what we need to handle on this side of the hull. On this side of the hull, we have our heads. So there's going to be sinks and such in here. And we need power over here. We need 110, we need 230, we may need DC, all of that over here, and we need water, hot and cold running water at the sinks. So there's going to be conduits running along that wall there, probably about 4 or 5 of them to handle all those different items. And so conduits are running all the way there. The way they get to that is just like we're drilling across right here. There's going to be conduits that run across through that little webbing you see right there, through, and then up to where these are, and then on across. So they'll come down that wall, run across through there, up that, and then across this wall all the way down to the end, whatever the final sink area is. Now the water will continue on and go in there, because truthfully the cold water comes from where the water tanks are up there, and the hot water runs, the cold ones, all the way down there to a heater where the diesel engine is, and then from there the hot water comes back this direction to bring the hot water to the sinks here. So a lot of conduits up against the outside hull there. So this morning we're still playing at being electricians and plumbers, and so yesterday we were working on these conduits down here, and today we're bringing power in from the nav station up here. So we have to make this turn right here, and then there'll be another one here, and then higher up, and higher up. So these are all make this turn across this wall right here. Then from there, they have to go down. Put an example in here. They have to go down straight from those and come out down here. But here's where it gets much trickier, because now they got to go through a lot of bends. They got to go through here, come through here, bend here, go down there, bend down there, go underneath the sole and above the diesel tank lid there, work their way over here, go up, turn, and then parallel along this wall. So that's never going to happen with these hard ones. So that's why we're using a bendable conduit here that we'll be putting in here, and then we can bend these where they need to be. Again, bend them as they go around this turn, bend them as they go down here around this turn. So flexible from here all the way down to the bottom here. So we just drilled all these holes everywhere. Of course, we'll have to seal those all up around the pipe, but right now we're working on getting these last flexible part in. So that means next thing we got to do is drill right here. Thing is, we don't want to drill straight through, because this is actually coming at an angle here, about 45. So we're going to try to drill these at about a 45 up through there. That'll help the bend of this flexible pipe. Okay, made it. Which one will be which? This will be the front one. This first one goes here, and then this will bend down to the wall here, and then we'll bend it again when it gets down there. So that looks like that little curve is going to work now that we drilled this hole at a 45 like that. 3 more. Okay, so these holes all go at an angle like this. Help that tube make that bend right there. I'll have to glass up this end and fix this all up, but no big deal. Kind of the way it has to be in a boat constructed out of foam panels like this one, without a lot of wall panels or something they take off, because right here, this much further on the other side is outside the boat. There's the bottom. Same thing here. This is the hull. Right on the other side, of the foam is the ocean. So there's nowhere to hide stuff like this behind walls and things. We have to find cupboards, tuck it in behind this little spot right here, so you're not going to trip on or anything. If we really want to make it look nice, we could always put a piece of foam across here. I don't know that we will. We might just paint it all and make it look nice that way, and just have the exposed conduits, because every time we add even foam and epoxy, that's more weight to the boat. So we're trying to keep it as light as possible. And on this one, we hadn't mounted it in the boat yet, so that's nice because we can come out here and do these angled cuts that are so hard. Okay. So now this will give us our 5 angled pieces in. I mentioned, you may have noticed on the previous side, on the starboard, we only did 4 holes. We have to go add one, because we figured out that we need 12 volts, 24 volts, NEMA 2000, 110 volt AC, 230 volt AC. So we need 5. Day 2 of sealing up our diesel tanks. We did the forward diesel tanks. Now we're doing the more centered tanks, gluing the tops on. So we've got ourselves a whole bunch of epoxy mixed up, and we've sanded and cleaned and all that good stuff in here. So now it's just a matter of gluing this down. This is our penultimate diesel tank lid to go down. Then we'll go over the port side and do that one, and that'll be the last. Making progress on these diesel tanks finally. So I'm wearing a skirt today. That's because I'm going to be trying to protect my arms better. It's in! Now let's go to the other side and do that. You already glued those down?
No,
Okay. Of course you didn't, because I've got the epoxy. These are for is to guide our flexible hoses that come down, then they will stop right there. There will be a gap here so that we can feed line back and forth. All right, off we go on the port side of the boat. We have to put these lids on just sort of temporary because it lines these up. Then we'll remove it later because there's a seal we have to put here and stuff. But right now we just want to make sure that these lids, while they're gluing, are in the right spot. So if we can thread these in, then I'll hold these three pieces, there's one there and two here, all in the right orientation while the glue sets up now. We've got all the diesel tanks lids are now in, and we've got one job left to do on the inside of them. After they've well set up, in a couple days or so, we'll go in there and with a roller and put some layers of just pure West System epoxy on the joint between the corners of the lid and the walls. So we'll just go in there. It's just a little 1/8 inch bit, but we want to make sure it's all sealed well. So we'll do that on both the front and back tanks, both sides of the boat. But other than that, we are in with our tanks. Dale, brother Dale O'Brien should be stopping by anytime now, in the next hour, so that we can continue work on the mainsail track, because we have a little trouble with it. We got 4 bolts that don't want to go down, so we're going to have to undo the bolts. We don't have to take the mainsail track off, but we're going to have to take the stainless steel bar off and remount it again. So that's not difficult to do, but it takes 3 people, 1 on the roof and 2 underneath the bar. So Dale will be here soon, help us with that. Okay, Brian's up on the roof in the sun, because neither Dale or I wanted to go up on the roof in the sun. And Dale and I are down here, and he's pulling all these bolts out of this stainless steel bar right now, because we found that we need to flip it, because we can't get 4 of the bolts to go all the way down. And we're hoping that's going to do it. So there's only 4 holding up now. He's going to pull these last 4, starting with the 2 ends. When he starts to pull these 2 last middle ones, we're going to have to hold it. So that's why Dale and I are ready. And This one should be coming out next. And then we have to get it aligned in the middle somewhere, wherever he decides to start. Okay, be ready. One of these is, yeah. Got it, that's it, flipping it. All right, so we're going back with, do you know which ones were in the middle ones, or you want to count?
No, I know which one.
Okay, so
Port side or
starboard. Starboard. Bring the bolt down a little. Bring the bolt down so I can see it. There we go. Hang on. All right, stop. You got it. Now go to Dale side. All right. Now what I want to do is take all of them, but don't tighten any of them. Just get them all started. Just get a few threads in each one. So today we've got some really heavy winds going on, so we've had to take the tarps off because they're just going to get whipped to bits. We've just left one up there, but they're both naked. So well, today we have Jeff here helping, and right now what he's doing up there is he's putting some tough gel on the ends of the bolts. We already had it on, but we're just kind of recoating on it there because we're about to do some glass work up there. We don't want it to stick to those bolts. So we're putting some more on. And we're getting ready to put the next wood layer of Western red cedar on, and then we'll glass over the top of that and over the top of the stainless steel bar. So that's getting to the second layer, and there's only one more layer after that. So we're starting to get ready for that. You can see the poles out on the corners there. Those are the actual poles that are going to be there in the future. They're not painted yet, but we just put them up there because we needed to free up the space around this bar so that we could work on it. And we took the temporary support arch and just moved it back, so it's also supporting it right now because we don't have the main supports in. Because the main supports go right about where Jeff's working right there. They'll go on the end of there where the wood is, and those have to wait until we get all of these layers on top of here, and then the poles go in and get glass to it. So for right now, we just have these temped in, just supporting the roof there on it. But once this bar's in, the poles are going to get put in permanently next. So that'll get that ugly wood arch, sort of the last support that we built on the construction of this boat. The last thing in there that's not part of the boat, so it'd be nice to get that out of here. Okay, time to glue in our wood. One thing is, you'll notice if these bolts come down a little less than a half an inch or around a centimeter. That wasn't supposed to be, they're supposed to be flush, but I didn't really want to cut them off because I didn't want to mess the threads up on the end. So what I decided to do instead, since we were shy some distance anyway, is just create a filler piece of wood with holes in it that the bolts can go into. And that way I don't have to change the bolts. So that's the piece of wood we're going to put on first. This is the first one with our holes in it. No screw necessary. Our afternoon job is to glass the top of these tanks, and it's just another way of getting it, make sure the seal's done. It's already sealed underneath, but we're gonna deal with it from the top as well. So we've already sanded up and cleaned everything. It's those gale force winds out there blowing like crazy today. In California, that's called the Santa Ana winds. They don't blow this way that often, but when they do, normally our wind is going that way from the stern of this boat to the bow, but when the Santa Ana winds blow, it's coming from the bow to the stern, like today. And when they blow, we can get some serious winding around here. Today, this isn't a bad one. A couple years ago, we had a Santa Ana wind of 70 miles per hour at the boat. That was scary. That was when the roof of the boat wasn't attached yet. It was just held up there with some straps. And, you know, I can't remember, but I had to race over here at the middle of the night and try to strap it down more because I was watching the security cameras and it looked like it was going to blow away or just rip itself in half because it was only held down in a couple spots. But today, these are blowing around 22 miles an hour. This in kilometers an hour. It's going to keep it up for the next 12 hours about or so. It'll get a little bit worse around 3 in the morning this morning. I don't know why it's always in the middle of the night when it gets bad, but it's never going to get so bad that I'm concerned about the boat today. And this boat is all glued together, so it doesn't have those issues anymore. If it can't handle a lot of wind, we're in trouble because this is a sailboat. We're going to be out in a lot of wind. Most of what you hear is the tarps flapping. The few that are left on it still, we've taken most of them off. I may even take more off so they don't get whipped to death tonight. All right, now I just need some thin epoxy and we can start putting all these tabs down. And we're going to put peel ply on these as well, even though they're under the sole. The reason I'm going to do that is that we're going to be painting this with bilge paint, so I want it smooth for when we paint it. And so this whole thing is very oddly, but this is a shallow bilge. So water that might happen to get into that cabin in front of where you're looking from right there would run down onto this sole, and there'll be a grate in here that allow the water to go down. Well, it could land on this in here, and so there'll be a hole through here into this area right here, and there's a bilge pump right here. So any water that comes from that direction was going to actually end up in here and then work its way down to the hole and down into the bilge pump here. All right, let's do this. Okay, starboard forward diesel tank is tabbed. One down, 3 to go.
As promised, the bilge rats got a lot of work done down in the bilge, and they completed the task of getting the fuel tanks sealed up.
Yeah, and a lot of other work on those conduits in there, so we're not done. There's still a lot more to go, but we want to get those things completely sealed up because I'm tired of balancing on those webs as we walk around down there. I want the sole in, and I want to be able to build the walls and stuff. So we're going to push that forward next week, and we'll also get to something else as well next week. So
Thank you for joining us this week, spending time with us. We do appreciate that.
Yes, we do. And thank you to our patrons listed here. We appreciate you so much. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click on the bell icon to be notified of our next video.
So we'll see you next week for all that fun.
Bye.